Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new NVIDIA daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over NVIDIA stock. Let's go over what is happening with the stock, what we can expect moving into the rest of the week and whatnot, and potentially next week as well. And I'll give you my overall thoughts on what the stock looks like right now and where I think it'll go next, essentially. So yeah, as per usual, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. It does help a lot. This is not financial advice and I'm not a financial advisor. And of course, if you enjoy my analysis, technical analysis, thoughts, etc., I obviously share it with my members every single day. The market is open live throughout the trading day on stocks like Tesla and other stocks as well, and sometimes bonus stocks like today's IWM and Amazon I did for just $2.99 a month. Or you can get access for $5 a month. You get access to all that, Tesla updates, daily market updates, but also NVIDIA daily updates as well. Again, for just $5 a month. But jumping into it, NVIDIA closing the day, yet another beautiful outperformance, closing up just above 4% on the day, closing at almost $133 per share, which compared to the market, definitely a little bit of an outperformance, or pretty, slightly respectable outperformance. Beautiful, beautiful day. Now, let's talk about what's happening with this stock, because it is starting to get a little bit heated, right? It is starting to get a little bit overextended here, but there's a difference between being overextended and overbought and being bearish, right? Overbought and overextended doesn't mean it's bearish. It just means that how much more room is there really left to go up before finally starting to develop some bearish potential scenarios, right? So I want to make that very clear. Just because I'm saying something is overbought, it doesn't mean it's bearish. That does not mean it's bearish. It just means that the risk reward, in my opinion, to the upside even further is a little bit on the lower end, not something I'm interested in. And we're starting to get closer and closer to an area where if there is going to be a bearish reversal finally taking place, we're getting closer to it. We're not there just yet, but we're getting closer to it. Now, kind of like with Tesla. Remember when Tesla was all the way back up at the 260s and I kept saying how we're getting very, very overbought, and it lasted for a few more days than I expected, naturally, right? Like I said, it's not technically bearish just because it's overbought. And then finally it ended up, quote unquote crashing, we'll say. Same idea with NVIDIA. I think the same thing will happen, right? I think, again, I still strongly believe we'll at some point come back down to about 124-ish, give or take, 123, 124, 125, somewhere around there to retest this breakout. I'd be pretty surprised and shocked if we don't, essentially. I just don't know when. Maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe it's next week. Maybe it's in 2 weeks. No idea when. But that's something I still expect. I do expect that to, at some point, come down like this. The question is when. Nobody knows. But as it stands right now, off of today's close, NVIDIA still looks really, really good. It still looks really, really bullish. I see absolutely zero signals of a bearish reversal. I don't see anything bearish about the stock whatsoever. And in fact, the fact that we closed above $130 per share, which now should act as a support, so watch for that potentially as early as tomorrow. If we come back down to 130, it should act as a support. If we lose 130 and we turn it back into resistance, we probably are going to begin this little small correction all the way back down to, again, 123, 4, 5, something like that, right? But as it stands right now, as long as 130 holds, either we come back down and test 130 and then make our way to 135, or we just go straight to 135 right off the bat. Who knows which one it is, but as it stands right now, based on this closure, it seems like 135 wants to be tested. It wants to go there. It wants to test 135, 136, and that's just the next target. It's just that simple. NVIDIA is just constantly breaking levels and it's going from one level to another. Kind of like when you're playing a video game, you're going for a boss, you go from one level to another. You beat boss on level 1, you go to level 2. Beat level 2 boss, you go to level 3. You got stuck on level 3 boss, maybe you go back to level 2 and try that one again, get a bit stronger, go back to 3. It's literally the same idea. It's literally just a game. Same concept, right? Let's say we get stuck at this boss right here, 135. Okay, we'll come back down here, refuel, come back stronger, and then potentially break out and move past it. Didn't get enough, refuelage, if you will, over here. Cool, we'll come back down even here. Get even stronger refueling, get stronger, like quote unquote reinforcements, aka new buyers to step in and make our way higher, right? It's a similar concept, right? In my opinion, at least. That's just one way to look at it. So regardless, the way I look at it is 135 is next. But again, like I said, it is getting very, very overbought. It is getting very elevated. For instance, you can see RSI very overbought now, right? It's pretty much right at 84. And don't forget, my RSI is set on 5. It's a pretty aggressive RSI. So it is showing it's pretty overbought. Stochastic still has more room to the upside, right? Even the true strength indicator still has more room to the upside. Even the BX trender still has more room to the upside, but none of them are showing bearish signals. They're just all starting to get into pretty overextended territory. Also, if I bring out my bands, you can see it's starting to get pretty overbought towards, it's getting close to extreme overbought territory. If we go to 136 as early as tomorrow, it'll be pretty much at extreme overbought territory for NVIDIA. Again, that doesn't mean it's bearish. It just means that there's probably not too much more juice to squeeze too much higher from here, just based strictly on a risk versus reward perspective, at least from my end. So we'll see. Like, again, this doesn't mean it's bearish, just means that how much more is there really room up is there before some form of mini correction back down and a cool off? That's the main question. So again, that's the way I look at it. It's pretty simple stuff, right? I don't think it's that complicated. Again, 135, 136 seems to be the next target. 130 is now support. Lose 130, most likely head back down to 124, 123 roughly. It is overextended. Risk reward, in my opinion, here is pretty low. But if we break above 135, 136, and we start closing daily candles above it, we're probably going to come up and retest all-time highs, probably right after. That can be a possibility, which is somewhere around 140 to 141. So just, again, step by step, level by level, let it happen. I personally, at the moment, would expect resistance to come in at 135-ish. I personally would expect a rejection from there and make our way lower because, again, it is getting very heated and very elevated here. But we'll take it level by level, day by day, and we'll see if a bearish candle or a reversal candle or anything like that starts to form around those pivotal resistance points, right? Which of course, right now, the next one is 135, 136, right? Pretty simple stuff. In terms of options flow, NVIDIA actually is bearish, surprisingly, right? 13 million confirmed bearish flow. So maybe the bulls are finally exiting their positions. Who knows for sure? And in terms of options flow on cheddar flow, it is kind of mixed though. This one is saying the bulls are definitely in control for the most part. But again, this is all the calls that came in today. This isn't necessarily taking into account calls that were also closed. So keep that in mind. That is important. I'm pretty sure that the black box one over here takes into account closed calls as well. I'm pretty sure at least. Well, this is just all the options and calls that came in today. We don't know how many of them are still open, right? We don't know. You can always go to the bid. You can always change this from above the ask and ask to bid and below the bid. But again, the difference here is the fact that you don't really know, at least I don't think you know, if these are sold options, so like sell to open, or they're just essentially closed calls, right? People exiting their called positions, the bullish call positions. I don't know how to tell the difference between those two, unfortunately. And if someone does, hey, let me know. But again, I don't really use options flow that much personally. But you can see, regardless, a lot of red here. What does that mean? Either people are selling calls, so selling to open calls against NVIDIA, which is probably what is happening, or people are exiting their bought to open calls that they've had, and now they're of course selling to close them. So one of those is happening, but the whales and the bulls are, well, they're clearly stepping in here and they're clearly taking in some sold calls or buy to close calls as well. So yeah, anyway, the point is clearly a lot of people are not expecting NVIDIA to head too much higher from here. But yeah, all that being said and done, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button. Again, like I said, that does help a lot. NVIDIA overall still looks really strong, seeing absolutely no bullish or bearish signs so far. So as a result, I do expect 130 to act as support, and I expect 135 as pretty much the next target. And we'll of course reassess it as it continues to play out this quote unquote pattern. So yeah, thanks for watching. And as usual, I'll see you for the next one. Peace.